So I've been giving this dream, this experience a lot of thought, and I meditated on it, and I given it some thought, and what kept coming to mind was the mother traumatized by having, her baby basically C-sectioned out of her with a sharp knife, and this traumatic event was still, it was considered a sort of a mock birth of sorts. And these men that were wearing these dark robes, their intention was to create as much trauma as possible. And in my meditation, I kept asking who the mother was. I couldn't really see her face in the dream very much, so I kept receiving the reply that it was the Mother Earth. It's the Mother Earth. So I remember clearly that the stabbing motion was like from here to here and on top of her stomach, and they sliced directly down into her belly button, and then they pulled the child out from the top. They pulled him out, and the child was all bloody and messy, and it was just absolutely horrifying, and it looked very very realistic, actually. And if we read the esoteric literature, and we talk about the birth of the new earth, and we hear about these processes that occur of new land masses being formed, new continents rising up, sparks that trigger these events, which we all know that my belief on that is the initial spark is going to be the Golden Gate that opens via a solar flare, a CME. That's exactly what's shown at the end of iPad Go 2. And this CME is going to sort of trigger this massive change in this process. Again, I suppose you could call it a crustal displacement that would shift all the continents and all the fault lines and allow the opening up. So I literally think like the new Earth is going to come out of the shell of the old Earth. So it's literally going to come out of it from beneath. So like something coming out of an egg, like an eggshell. And basically, I believe, and not just me, there are others that is going to start in Hawaii. That Hawaii is like a focal point of this energy, whether it be a volcanic eruption of Kilauea or whatever it might be. This is the focal point of where it will begin, and that's the natural focal point, right? Let's just call it metaphorically the birth canal. And so what I saw with this ritual taking place is that instead of the process happening naturally through volcanic eruptions, birth canal. I know it sounds silly, but I don't know how else to put it. So let's say that, for example, that the United States or North America is like the center of this birthing process, which I absolutely believe it is. This is where most of the stuff is going to start in terms of earthquakes and stuff shifting. I think that these elites and these dark magicians, they want to subvert that process and make it as painful and as horrifying as possible, whether it be through some kind of device like an earthquake machine. But I think that the mother, that her womb, her belly, that's the United States, and they want to take a knife and split it in two artificially. Artificial earthquake, the New Madrid Fault, I don't freaking know, but that's just really what I feel this dream is about on like the macro level of the dream. So they want to create this. They know the birth's going to happen. They know it's inevitable. They know that we're in the process of transitioning into a new Earth. But they want to make it as horrifying and as painful, and they want to create their own artificial version of it as well, with machines and things that they built in space and all these contraptions that they're going to have shown. It's possible. We know that the truth is a lot stranger than fiction. We know that. In terms of a personal level, I was drawn into the darkness. Like I have been my entire life. I've always had an interest in gothic things and things that are on the dark side, and it just pulls me back. And I think that symbolized for me that I don't need to be drawn to that anymore, and I need to just walk away and walk towards the light, walk towards the new sun. That I've been there, I've seen it. I lived through it. It's time to move on from the duality, basically. And one more thing I wanted to mention about the dream is so the two Asian men that were preparing something, I noticed some kind of instruments in the room that I didn't mention in a previous video. They looked like brass or some kind of musical instruments. So they're dressed up in suits and they were going to play these instruments. And I got the sense that they were trumpets. So I don't know, are the Chinese, the Asians going to sound the first trumpets? That's kind of the sense I got from them. But either way, I was very unwelcome to their presence, and they didn't want me to be there. The last thing is